866.
The PGA Tour said it will not allow players to compete in the Saudi-backed Super League next month. According to The Athletic, the PGA Tour has denied its players the ability to play in the first event of the Saudi-backed Super Golf League in London. Members who requested permission to compete were denied on Tuesday, per Golfweek, who was the first to break the news. The event, taking place from June 9th to 11th at the Centurion Club, is the opening tournament of the LIV Golf Invitational Series. The news actually on this has developed significantly since Tuesday.
Yeah, but it doesn't change really. I mean, basically lawyers are going to get paid. I'm delighted it's getting started because this just we need to get past the prologue and all this storm and drang, and let the league start, see what happens. I thought one of the most telling things is Greg Norman recently said, they've got an infusion of cash. They're going to, we're not just talking about 2023, 2024, 2025. We're looking way beyond that. We're looking at decades, which has got to make the PGA very concerned. But the fact is, if this is going to work, it's got to take the long view, because the short view has become very contentious. The Phil Mickelson phenomenon, has distorted it, and I don't know if it's distorted, but it basically put it in a position on the front pages that it's not useful or helpful. So, there's a reason the PGA is concerned about this, because it's a real threat. The USFL is not a threat to the NFL. The G League is not a threat to the NBA. Mm-hmm. The Korean League is not a threat to the Major League Baseball. This is a real threat to the PGA. And if they can successfully handle their business, and if they can be happy enough with building a tour, and over time, it could see real success. This turbulent and fraught beginning, I'm glad we're coming to an end of that part of the beginning. And let's just get started and see how it goes.
You can't build a brand in anything unless you're in the market and people can make their own opinions about you. And that's really what a brand is people saying, I like this, I don't like this. And right now it's been all hypothetical. It's been all talk. Mm-hmm. Greg Norman gave quite a doozy of a presser in London this week. Some of the stuff I agree with what he said, and some other stuff maybe not. It could have been put differently, but right now, until this thing launches, it's just talk and players taking pot shots at Saudi Arabia and Greg Norman and any contenders. It's not a good spot for this for the LIV Golf Invitational Series. But I was thinking about this earlier, Richard. 5 years from now, a lot of this stuff will be forgotten if they are committed to keeping this going, to growing it. People won't really remember this before the launch stuff, I don't think. People will still have their opinions on Saudi Arabia and on Greg Norman and on a rival golf series. But I think it's a great point that you said that, this is a serious contender to the PGA, like it or not. And that's why the PGA is so defensive about it. Yeah.
5 years from now, I mean, Saudi Arabia gets pinged for a lot of things. 5 years from now, maybe people will look at it differently and look at, their quote unquote sports washing differently. And so you can argue, so then it was a success. Critics will say, well, look, this is just what we worried about. I think Saudi Arabia is going to go on its merry way anyway. Mm-hmm. And I think this tour should go on its merry way and, get started, put on an interesting product, pay outrageous purses if that's the case, cultivate and create and promote new faces, and build the game of golf and see if you can capture an audience, and then we'll talk. Mm-hmm. Because right now it's just all been talk.
It's all been talk,
like you say.
And not a lot of it's been good. Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that too. I mean, that's the one way that you and I have talked about this off the air, but sort of the way that this could work is they have these huge tournaments, big payouts. You got a couple familiar faces there, but then you have a bunch of unfamiliar faces taking part in this that you've never heard of. Guys that just got paid $8 million to win a golf tournament with Phil Mickelson and Lee Westwood and others in it. I mean, hypothetically, eventually there'll be some discussion. Hey, can this guy play on the tour? Do you think he's good enough to play on the tour? What if he's better than what we have on the tour right now? I mean, there'll be a debate, and then you'll have that rival league start to attract more players. And from there, you'll get TV money and endorsements and fan money. you just got to get it out the door. You just got to get it going. And, there's been a lot of mistakes along the way. I'm not sure that playing some of these tournaments at Trump resorts is a great idea, but it doesn't matter. You don't really know what's a good idea or not a good idea until you actually do it. And, you just got to get it out into the market.
Yeah, as I mentioned some time back, we have had a previous conversation about golf on this podcast. The operational security of this process, early on was not great. And again, that had a lot to do with Phil Mickelson and a little bit to do with Greg Norman and his particular approach to things. But all that's coming to an end in terms of the prelude, and it starts next month in the UK, and let's get it on and let's see how it works. And the proof will be in the pudding in 3, 4, 5 years.
One thing they really did nail is player dissatisfaction with the PGA Tour. I mean, for months, there was nobody committing either way. And you're now seeing players like Sergio Garcia and others say, I'm really fed up with the PGA Tour. I'm not a fan. I don't like the way we're treated. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to join this new tour or not, but it's just all this talk was never good. So just get going with this thing. Let's watch some golf. Let's see how it goes. Get it out the door. Go from there. I certainly am planning to watch. I have a couple buddies who are going to actually attend this event in London at the Centurion Club, which looks nice. Cool. I know. Cool. I didn't get invited. I don't know what happened.
I'm just kind of bummed because I got a really early tee time. They're sending me off really early. It kind of pisses me off.
Yeah. I
deserve
you 6
better.
a.m. Yeah.
Well, what am I?
Well, look, Richard, if you go low, you'll be playing later on Saturday
on the weekend. On the weekend.